session. In this session we will discuss the part 2 of the bank final account, which is included in the syllabus of advanced accountancy paper first, unit first. Okay. In the first part we have discussed the balance sheet and required schedule to prepare the balance sheet. Today in this session we will discuss the schedules of a profit and loss account, profit and loss account, and the adjustments. Okay, so the portion that to be covered in this session is preparation of a profit and loss account, the required schedules which are required for profit and loss account, and the adjustments. Okay, this is the form of profit and loss account, which is called as Form B. Okay, we have discussed that. The first heading, that is income. The profit and loss account includes 4 headings, that is income, expenditure, profit, and appropriations. The first heading is income. Income includes 2 incomes. One is earned, interest earned, and other income. Interest earned, the details is shown in the schedule number 13, and other income, the details of which are shown in the schedule number 14. The second heading is expenditure. The second heading is expenditure. It includes 3 items. One is interest expended. Interest expended, which is details of which are given in the schedule number 15. Then operating expenses, the details of which are given in the schedule number 16. And the item is provisions and contingencies. Thus, the profit and loss account includes first 2 headings. One is income and second is expenditure. Okay. The next headings are profit or loss. The opening balance of profit and loss account as well as net profit for the year will be shown here under this heading. And the last heading is appropriations, division of the profit. Appropriation is division of the profit. Okay, that is transfer to statutory reserve, transfer to any other reserve, proposed dividend, any other appropriations are shown in this heading, under this heading. And the last is balance, is the balance of the profit and loss account is carried over to the balance sheet. Balance of profit and loss account is carried over to the balance sheet. Okay, thus the profit and loss account includes 4 headings. First is income, second is expenditure, third is profit or loss, okay, and last is appropriations. Okay, we will see in details. We come to the first item, that is income. Okay, under this income, the first heading is interest earned. The bank is accepting deposit as well as advances to the public. So the term interest is used in both the meaning. Both the meaning means interest earned, interest on advances, interest on loans, interest on cash credits. Okay, this is the income of the bank. At the same time, interest on deposit is an expenditure to the bank. So when we call interest, we have to mention that whether the interest is receivable, or whether the interest is paid or paid. Because interest, the same concept is used for received income as well as expenditure. Okay. So first we will see interest received, interest earned. It includes 3 items, that is interest and discount received. Interest and discount received. Interest and discount on advances and fees. It means the interest on loans. Interest on loans. Then next is income from investments. The bank generally invests in shares, debentures, bonds, government securities. Okay. The interest received on such items, such investments are taken into consideration here. And next is interest on balance with RBI and balance with other banks. Okay. The bank has deposited some amount is kept in the RBI account or in other balances. Then the interest received on such deposits is considered here. Okay. So interest and discount received. Then income from investments, that is interest received on investments, that is, and interest received on balance with Reserve Bank of India as well as other banks. If there is some other income, we will consider it. Okay. The next is schedule number 14. Schedule number 14, that is other income. That is other income. It includes 4 or 5 items. Okay. Here we will consider the income which is other than interest. Which is other than interest. Okay. So first is commission, exchange and brokerage. Next is profit on sale of or revaluation of investments. If there is loss on sale of investments or revaluation of investment, it should be deducted from the profit. Okay, profit and loss both are considered. It means here is a chance of appearing minus balance, negative amount. Okay, suppose profit is less and loss is more, then at such time you have to take into consideration, you have to take resulting figure minus figure in the amount. Okay, so we will consider here profit on sale of or revaluation of investments, and we will deduct the loss on sale of or revaluation of investments. The resulting figure may be plus, may be minus. Okay, in the same way, profit on sale of assets. Sale of assets means sale of fixed assets, that is building, premises, furniture. Any asset has been sold by the bank, then we will consider here profit on sale of assets. If there is loss, we will consider also here loss on sale of assets. And as usual, the resulting figure will be plus or minus. If profit is more, the resulting figure will be plus. If the profit is less, loss is more than the profit, then there will be negative amount, minus. Okay. Then next is profit on exchange transactions. Profit on exchange transactions. If there is a loss on exchange transaction, it should be deducted. The resulting figure will be plus or minus. Then we will take into consideration here dividend received from subsidiaries or any other banks. If there is any miscellaneous income, we will consider here. It means other than interest, we will consider here all income. Okay, this is schedule number 4. Next is heading expenditure. Schedule number 15. Interest expended. Okay, just I explained that interest is used in both the meaning, interest received as well as interest expended. Interest expended means interest on deposits. Interest expended means interest on deposits. Okay, we will consider 3 points. One is interest on deposits, interest on borrowings from RBI. Suppose the bank has taken borrowings, bank has some amount borrowed from the RBI. Bank has borrowed some amount from the RBI. Then the interest paid on such borrowings will be considered here. In the same way, suppose bank has borrowed some amount from other banks. Bank has borrowed some amount from other banks. Then the interest paid on such borrowings will be also considered here. If there is any such other items, we will consider here. Okay. So interest on deposits, interest on borrowings from RBI, and interest on borrowings from other banks. All these expenses will be considered here. The only item is interest. Okay, interest expended. This is schedule number 15. And the last schedule is operating expenses. Schedule number 16. We will record here all operating expenses. We will record here all operating expenses. Okay. Payment to and provisions for employees. It means salaries, wages, contributions, bonus, all these will be considered here. In whatever form the payment has been made, in whatever form the payment has been made to the employees will be considered here. Okay, it may be in the form of salary, it may be in the form of wages, it may be in the form of bonus, any other emoluments, monetary benefits we will consider here. Okay, then rent, taxes, printing, stationery, advertisement, depreciation, all these directors' fees, auditors' fees, then law charges, postage, repairs, insurance, all operating charges, all operating expenses calculation, we have to keep it in mind that we will record here all operating expenses. Is that clear? Okay. Then we will see, we will turn for the adjustments. We will turn for the adjustments or some important points. The first important point is statutory reserve. Statutory reserve. The bank has to mention. It is compulsory by law. It is mandatory by law that every bank has to mention statutory reserve fund. Statutory reserve fund. And to this fund, 20% of the net profit. 20% of the net profit should be transferred to this reserve fund. So, reserve fund, statutory reserve fund. There may be some other reserves, but statutory reserve fund should be maintained by bank. Okay. Then, according to the section 17 of the Banking Regulation Act, 20% of the profit must be transferred each year, every year, to the statutory reserve fund before declaration of dividend. It means before appropriations, the bank has to calculate net profit, and 20% of such net profit is to be transferred to the statutory reserve fund. The adjustment is such that it is shown in the profit and loss account under the heading appropriations. The postings. Okay? Two postings. One is, it is shown in the profit and loss account under the heading appropriations and added to the statutory reserve fund. Simply may be said as reserve fund. Simply may be said as reserve fund. It is added to the reserve fund in schedule number 2, reserves and surplus. Okay? First effect is, it is shown under the heading appropriations in profit and loss account. Second posting, second effect, it is added to the reserve fund or statutory reserve fund in the schedule number 2. Okay? The most important thing is that even it is not explicitly mentioned in the problem, you have to make the adjustment. Okay? So for every problem, you have to make such adjustment. If it is mentioned, you have to make. If it is not mentioned in the problem, you have to make such adjustment. So this adjustment is compulsory. This adjustment should be made in each and every problem. If it is asked, you have to. If it is not asked, you have to. Okay? Next, provision for doubtful debts. There may be some provision for doubtful debts. How it is to be treated? The provision for doubtful debts, if it is given in the adjustment, it is shown in the profit and loss account under the heading provisions and contingencies. The first effect, if it is given in the adjustment, the first effect is, it is shown under the heading provisions and contingencies in the profit and loss account, and it is deducted from the loans advances in schedule number 9, advances. Okay? See again two effects. One is, in the profit and loss account, it is shown under the heading provisions and contingencies, and second is, it is deducted from the loans and advances in the schedule number 9. Okay? If it is given in the trial balance, then we have to see in which column it appears. In which column it appears. If it appears in the debit column of the trial balance, then it should be shown under the heading provisions and contingencies in the profit and loss account. And if it appears in the credit column, of the trial balance, then it should be deducted from the advances in the schedule number 9. It should be deducted from loans and advances in schedule number 9. Okay? Clear? Then next is provision for taxation. It is also treated in the same manner as provision for doubtful debts. Okay? In the same manner, in the same line, like provision for doubtful debts. Provision for taxation. If a provision for taxation is given in the adjustment, two effects. For the first contingencies in the profit and loss account. And second effect is it is shown in the schedule number 5, other liabilities and provisions. Other liabilities and provisions. See again the two effects if it is given in the adjustment. Provision for taxation is shown under the heading provisions and contingencies in the profit and loss account. And second effect it is shown in the schedule number 5, other liabilities and provisions. If the provision for taxation is given in the trial balance, then we have to see whether it appears in the debit column or credit column of the trial balance. If it appears in the debit column, it is shown under the heading provisions and contingencies in the profit and loss account. And if it appears in the credit column of the trial balance, amount column, credit column of the trial balance, then it is to be shown in schedule number 5, other liabilities and provisions. Next item is generally asked every time, that is the rebate on bills discounted or unexpired discount. Rebate on bills discounted or unexpired discount. If it is given in the adjustment, two effects. The first effect is that it should be deducted. It should be deducted from interest and discount in schedule number 30. In schedule number 30, unexpired discount should be deducted from interest and discount in schedule number 30. Okay. And second effect is it is shown in the schedule number 5, other liabilities and provisions. In schedule number 5, other liabilities and provisions, if it is given in the adjustment. If the unexpired discount or rebate on bills discounted appears in the trial balance, then at such time, if it appears to the debit column of the trial balance, then it should be deducted from the interest and discount in schedule number 30. It should be deducted from interest and discount in schedule number 30. Okay, and if it appears in the credit column of the trial balance, then it should be shown in schedule number 5, other liabilities and provisions. Okay. Then next is interest accrued on investments. Interest accrued on, it means interest receivable. Interest receivable on investments. If it is given in the adjustment, then it should be added. It should be added to the interest on investment in schedule number 30. Schedule number 30. It should be added to the interest on investment in schedule number 30. And the second effect it is to be shown. It is to be shown in schedule number 11, other assets. It is to be shown in schedule number 11, other assets. Okay. If it appears in the trial balance, then if it appears in the debit column, it is to be shown in schedule number 11, other assets. It is to be shown in schedule number 11, other assets. And if it appears in the credit column of the trial balance, then it is to be added to the interest on investment in schedule number 30. In schedule number 30. Okay. Next, proposed dividend. Every time asked such adjustment. Okay. So proposed dividend, if it is given in the adjustment, then proposed dividend should be shown under the heading appropriations in profit and loss account. Proposed dividend should be shown under the heading appropriations in the profit and loss account. First effect. And second effect is it is to be shown in schedule number 5, other liabilities and provisions. Two effects. One is shown under the heading appropriations in profit and loss account, and second is shown in the schedule number 5, other liabilities and provisions. If it appears in the trial balance, If it appears in the trial balance, if it appears in the debit column, then it should be shown under the heading appropriations. Under the heading appropriations in the profit and loss account. Okay? And if it appears to the credit side or the credit column of the trial balance, credit side or credit column of the trial balance, then it should be shown in the schedule number 5. Schedule number 5, other liabilities and provisions. Okay? Very simple. Then some items you may know, that is interim dividend. Interim dividend is shown under the heading appropriations. Under the heading appropriations in the profit and loss account. Generally this item appears in the trial balance because it is interim dividend, so it may be paid out already. It may be paid out already. So generally we have to give only one effect, that is it should be shown under the heading appropriations in the profit and loss account. Okay? Unclaimed dividend. Unclaimed dividend is shown in schedule number 5, other liabilities and provisions. As the dividend is already declared, already proposed, so need not to show again. Need not to show again in the appropriations. It is already declared. Okay? Already provided. So it should be shown only in the schedule number 5, other liabilities and provisions. Okay? Depreciation, you are very familiar with, you know how to effect the depreciation. That is, it should be deducted from the respective asset and it should be shown in the schedule number 16, operating expenses. It should be deducted from the respective asset and it should be shown in the schedule number 16, operating expenses. Outstanding expenses as usual, that is, it should be added to the respective expenses in the schedule number 16. In the schedule number 16. Okay? And as the amount is payable, it is shown in the schedule number 5, other liabilities and provisions. If there is any outstanding expenses, it should be added to the concerned expenses in schedule number 16. And it should be shown in the schedule number 5 as amount payable as liability, schedule number 5, other liabilities and provisions. Okay? Thank you. Thank you very much. I expect your valuable